Hello and welcome back to Green Dot Global. I'm Greta, your host for today, here with my co-host Maya.
Hey guys.
This episode is a case study of activist Xiang. Okay, to start, this activist, Xiang, is located in China, and he founded the Green Anhui movement in 2003. So this prompted environmental awareness and the protection of China's Anhui province and Huai River. And in 2008, this led the Xiang village residents in shutting down 3 chemical plants that polluted local waterways. And this was filmed in the film called The Wars of Xiang. And pardon me for all my mispronunciations. I'm trying my best. Okay, so Zhang worked with the Wildlife Conservation Society in the Chinese Alligator Program and helped relocate Bronx Chinese alligators to Shanghai's Chongming Island.
Wait, so were they from the Bronx Zoo?
Yes, so this was more of a rehabilitation type program and
Cool.
making sure that the Chinese ecosystem in the Anhui province is thriving, and replacing these animals back in there will help them do that.
Yeah. Do you know if they were endangered before that?
I actually don't know, but I would assume that it was in the best interest to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a $200 startup cost of a donation from the Green Global Grants Fund to start Green Anhui, and now they get funding from foundations, governments, and companies, 55% Chinese and 55% or 45% overseas. It's a lot of this is foreign funding, but also the Chinese people are putting a lot of money into this because they want to see this happen. So there are very few non-governmental organizations in China because of political values, and so this means less policy work. Mm-hmm. And most existing programs are based in education and training. But they're working towards improving the accessibility for these NGOs, so they'll receive tax benefits, and as long as they're not overtly political, they're supported somewhat by the government now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Green Anhui, founded by Xiang, focuses on education and training, of course, and then they do local workshops, they work on policy, and their specific topics right now are waste, human rights, and environmentalism. So they're focusing right now on a big project on the Chao Lake, which is the 5th largest Chinese lake, and the Yangtze River, which their efforts have their advocation has increased government spending for cleanup, which was totally non-existent before then, with a total of $100 million spent.
Is it more cleaning up waste, or is it more chemical pollutants and that kind of thing?
I think it is both. So waste, of course, is what they're focusing on, and this includes commercial and industrial waste too. So as we see, China is a huge manufacturing country, a giant, and
huge population.
Yeah, huge population.
Yeah.
So making sure their waterways are clean is a huge goal of Xiang's foundation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the worst is in the Huai River, the worst pollution and contamination, which is a very long river and covers over 4 provinces. So the Xiang River is part of the provinces, and so pollution that's caused upstream, of course, flows downstream, and so these areas downstream are super concentrated with contaminants. So Green Anhui is focusing on protecting the Yellow Mountain and upstream ecosystems, so downstream isn't as contaminated, and the people along the river are not affected by this environmental contamination.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because I know there's still a lot of, as well as urban, obviously massive urban populations, but there's also a lot of rural populations.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how that's affecting them.
Yeah, it's definitely affecting. Of course, it's affecting them environmentally, but also their power and their voice, especially as the Chinese government has previously and still does limit their voices already. It's especially hard for them to make change to these effects that they're seeing in rural areas too. So the Green Anhui Foundation is emphasizing that they need media support to succeed in their program. Mm-hmm. So since the government is limited in their help, they have looked towards media and like media outlets to advertise their campaign.
Yeah.
And by word of mouth. So like the people in rural areas are spreading the news and trying to get their efforts more support. And then their other thing is environmental laws. So the Chinese government has very few environmental laws, and the ones that exist aren't very in-depth, similar to the U.S. in some ways. Lenient. Yeah. Especially since like their economy is based on things that do have heavy environmental effects.
Yeah, it's so based on manufacturing that it's going to be hard to like implement environmental. Like their entire economy is based off of that, like their entire society. So, I mean, same with the U.S. Like it's going to be hard to make that change.
Mm-hmm. So Xiang is working on improving these laws and making new ones. And then their last emphasis right now is public transportation. Like along with China's huge population, if everyone has a car, that's gonna be crazy. They need public transportation to be able to move into the future and have a healthy country. And so that is the summary of Xiang and his efforts at the Green Anhui movement. If you want to learn more, there are going to be resources down below. And that's it.
Great. Thank you all for listening. We hope that today you enjoyed learning about Zhou Xiang, and pop out to our next episode to hear about another activist. Her name is Wangari Maathai.
Bye.
Bye.